Hello, good neighbors. Katie Bopp Hunt here, and this express yoga video for you is called Holy Hips, and I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes doing some of my favorite hip opening exercises. I'm an athlete, I lift weights, so I have very tight hips from a lot of the squatting that I do, so yoga has truly changed my life and been the most beautiful thing to complement weightlifting and all the other exercise and activity that I do. So enjoy, and let's get to it. Go ahead and start at the top of your mat. Finding stillness, finding that tailbone down, standing up nice and tall. And from here, we're gonna inhale, left knee comes up, palms come up, touch overhead. If you need your palms to be at heart center, that is fine as well. Press together with 5 pounds of pressure. Go ahead and step back. We're gonna come into a high lunge, crescent lunge here. So very important that your tailbone is pointing down, okay? So now my tailbone is pointing out to the back. I want you to point your tailbone down, okay? Think of the pubic bone pulling up. All right, and this will give you that huge sensation in that stretch. Otherwise, you're missing out on a lot of the stretch in the hip. All right, so I'm up on the ball with my foot in the back. And you can go ahead and experiment with rocking that back foot. And so we're just kind of playing in the hip here. We're staying in this high lunge, but we're playing with it a little bit, okay? So coming up on the toe, letting the heel sink down and back. Good. From here, I'm going to have you lower that back knee and find stillness here. Again, make sure that tailbone is pointed down so you get a huge stretch through here. I feel it all the way down to my knee through the front of my quad, so this is very beneficial for me. Stay in this pose with the toes curled in the back because we're going to stand it back up. So deep breath in, activate Mula Bandha, so you're contracting, pulling everything up down here so you have support there, and bringing it back. Ooh. From here, we're going to reverse back to standing. So step forward if you can, catch the knee up front in a standing one leg bounce, and set it down. Good. Walk it out. My hips need this today. I don't know about you. Inhale, let that right knee come up. Again, you can keep the hands up overhead. Much more challenging and a lot of shoulder work, but please, I invite you to challenge yourself to do that if that feels good to try today. Good, and tailbone down. Ooh, yeah, so I have a nice stretch that actually comes around the hip, through the front of the hip, all the way down the quad to the front of the knee. So this feels yummy and good. And I'm gonna move in here. I'm gonna play with this a little bit. So I'm up on the ball of the foot, letting it stretch back down. Make sure you're breathing. Oh, yes. Hello, hip. Good, and from here, find stillness. And drop that right back knee very slowly, very nicely, very gently down to the floor, okay? This is also a balancing pose. So if you feel like you're a little wobbly here, that's fine. You can always bring like your yoga blocks with you for extra guidance and support. You can change the placement of your hands if that helps. What really helps, think about your belly button, pulling it back into your spine and pinning it there. So there's this tension here that you're holding. You're not holding your breath, but there's that tension, there's that activation in those muscles, because the middle part connects the top to the bottom. So if this isn't getting engaged, it gets all wobbly. Inhale, bringing it back up to your crescent lunge, your high lunge here. Hello, hip. And remember, we're gonna reverse back to a standing one leg bounce, so shift the weight forward. Made it. I don't always stick the landing, you guys. Good, and then when you're ready, set that leg down some hip circles here, standing hip circles. So it doesn't matter which direction you go, we're gonna do both sides. Switch directions. Just really moving the hip in a way that it actually doesn't move very often throughout our days. So I'm doing outer circles, switch legs. Ooh, yes. Feels lovely. Get that joint nice and warm. Switch sides. Do circles in the other direction. Still breathing. Lovely. All right, let's go ahead and come down to the ground. We're gonna move into a low lunge variation, lizard or dragon pose. So go ahead and bring the right knee forward. And from here, let's start with hands on either side of the foot. And we're gonna take our back toe pointed. So shoelaces down, they say. You're still trying to reach that tailbone down a little bit. So you're maximizing that stretch through the front of this left hip down here. And a nice stretch through the hamstring, the glute here. Long spine, really important. So make sure you're not hunchy. Get the yoga blocks if you need them. I do practice with them all the time. Good, bring the right arm on the inside of the right leg. So you got both hands here. Now stay here if this is enough for you, okay? If you wish to go deeper, what you can do is put your elbows down a little bit on blocks, or if you can go all the way to the ground, come and bring your elbows and forearms to the ground. You still want to keep your spine lifted and long. And from here, make sure you're breathing. And we're gonna play with this one too. So what we're gonna do is, right now my right knee is hugging into my right shoulder. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna open it up and let it fall open. So now I'm on the outer blade of the outer edge of my right foot. Completely different sensation. So if this is enough for you today, stay here. If you wanna add on a little bit, take your right arm, kind of pressing and opening that right knee. So you get an enhanced twisting stretch there in the hip and a little extra something in the spine. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Very gently release, press back up, and go ahead and very gently move and do the other side here. Left leg forward. So right toes pointed. And so again, if this is enough, stay here. If you need to be up on blocks, get your hands up on blocks. If you're ready and willing and able, go ahead and bring it down. Bringing it down. Oof, it's intense. Breathing into this. Oh, it's yummy. And now if you're, again, wanting to take this to the next level here, take that left knee and let it fall open, okay? So my left ankle is flexed, my toes are pointed back, so nothing is relaxed. There's nothing like just laying limp. I'm not sitting loose in any of my joints. Everything, there's a tautness, there's a bit of firmness throughout my whole body. Okay, nothing that's gripping, but it's at attention, so to speak, if that makes any sense. Take your left hand, gently open that left knee wider. Chest is long and lifted, and then you can swivel and rotate and twist with that upper body. Finding your breath, keeping your breath. And then from here, very gently and slowly coming out of this nice deep twist, pressing back up. Go ahead and walk your left foot back. From here, we're gonna do all fours, Some quick circles here. Warming up those hips. Kind of shaking out that nice deep stretch that we just did. Oh yeah. All right, other side. Good. Roll, roll, roll. Let this feel good. All right, you guys. And so we are gonna stop there because I'm trying to keep these right at 10 minutes for you guys. So they are express yoga flows with an emphasis or a focus on this, that, and the other. This was Holy Hips. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Katie Bob Hunt, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.